death to life. But hey, that's not the bad news. Those are the objections of people who care enough about religion to object to it, or to rent a set of recreational objections from Richard Dawkins or Christopher Hitchens. As accusations, they may be a hodgepodge, a mishmash of truths and half-truths and untruths plucked from radically different parts of Christian history and the Christian world, with the part continually taken for the whole if the part is damaging, or the whole for the part if it's flattering. But at least they assume there's a thing called religion there, which looms with enough definition and significance to be detested. In fact, there's something truly devoted about the way that Dawkinsites managed to extract a stimulating hobby from the thought of other people's belief. The ones in this country must be envious of the intensity of the anti-religious struggle in the United States, yet some of them even contrive to feel oppressed by the Church of England, which is not easy to do. It must take a deft delicacy at operating on a tiny scale, like doing needlepoint, or playing Sabutio, or fitting a whole model railway layout into an attaché case. No, the really painful message our daughter will receive is that we're embarrassing. For most people who aren't new atheists or old atheists, and have no passion invested in the subject, either negative or positive, believers aren't weird because we're wicked. We're weird because we're inexplicable. Because, when there's no necessity for it that anyone sensible can see, we've committed ourselves to a set of awkward and absurd attitudes which obtrude, which stick out against the background of modern life, and not in some important or respect-worthy or principled way either, more in the way that some particularly styleless piece of dressing does, which makes the onlooker wince and look away and wonder if some degree of cerebral deficiency is involved. Believers are people with pudding bowl haircuts, wearing anoraks in August and chunky knit sweaters the colour of vomit. Or, to pull back from the metaphor of clothing to the bits of behaviour that the judgment is really based on, believers are people who try to insert Jesus into conversations at parties, who put themselves down with writhings of unease for perfectly normal human behaviour, who are constantly trying to create a solemn hush that invites a fart, a hiccup, a bit of subversion. Believers are people who, on the rare occasions when you have to listen to them, like at a funeral or a wedding, seize the opportunity to pour the liquidized content of a primary school nativity play into your ear hole, apparently not noticing that childhood is over. And as well as being childish and abject and solemn and awkward, we voluntarily associate ourselves with an old-fashioned, mildewed orthodoxy, an authority with all its authority gone. Nothing is so sad from the style point of view as the mainstream taste of the day before yesterday. If we could help ourselves, if we absolutely had to go shopping in the general area of woohoo and the force is strong in you, young Master Skywalker, we could at least have picked something new and colourful, something with a bit of gap year spiritual zing to it, possibly involving chanting and spa therapies, instead of which we chose old buildings that smell of dead flowers, and groups of pensioners laboriously grinding their way through all things bright and beautiful. Rebel cool? Not so much. And worst, as I said before, there is no reason for it. No obvious lack that this sad stuff could be an attempt to supply, however cack-handed. Most people don't have a God-shaped space in their minds waiting to be filled, or the new atheist counterpart, a lack of God-shaped space filled with the swirly, pungent vapours of polemic. Most people's lives provide them with a full range of loves and hates and joys and despairs, and a moral framework by which to understand them, and a place for awe and transcendence without any need for religion. Believers are the people touting a solution without a problem, and an embarrassing solution too, a really damp-palmed, wide-smiling, can't-dance solution in an anorak. And so, what goes on inside believers is mysterious, so far as it can be guessed at, if for some reason you wanted to guess at it. It appears to be a kind of anxious pretending.